So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to VizConnect. My name is Sagar Kapoor. I'm a part of customer success team at Tableau. VizConnect is all about connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. It started as a community project last year with the help of one of the Tableau Zen Master, Divya. And the only intent was that how we can go ahead and connect everyone to this amazing Tableau community. So thanks to our team at Tableau, Adam, Judith, uh, Iram, and Aloysius. With their help, we were able to host close to 42 sessions so far. We have a LinkedIn group in which you can go ahead and connect to each other. We have a YouTube page by the name of VizConnect, in which we have all the amazing content just waiting for you. And this has been possible with the help of our amazing Tableau community, family, Zen masters, and all the ambassadors. So thank you to them for coming on the platform and sharing their knowledge. Go ahead, subscribe to our VizConnect YouTube page, some amazing content waiting for you. Join our LinkedIn group, connect with each other, ask questions, and learn from each other. And also, I wanted to talk about IronViz. I think there's 2 weeks left by which you can go ahead and submit your Viz. So this year's qualifiers theme is health and wellness. The last submit date is 4th of August. Just keep that in mind. And if you have not started working on your Viz, it's a simple process. Go ahead, download Tableau desktop, create your first Tableau public profile, get the data and submit your Viz. It's as easy as possible. And today, with our speakers, we'll talk about how they are preparing for the IronViz competition. So let me go ahead and introduce to, and before that, if you need some help with respect to how you want to go ahead and brainstorm about IronViz, I think on 15 July, we hosted one of the VizConnect session, and it was a panel discussion with all the previous IronViz winners in which they talked about why IronViz and why you should go ahead and participate in it. I will recommend you to go ahead and join this particular session on our YouTube page and just watch it. So let's get to our today's speaker, right? It's a pleasure to welcome Daria and Alexander. So Daria has been working as a Tableau reporting developer for several years across the finance, retail, advertisement, and automotive industries in Toronto. She has helped clients to organize self-service analytics, environment, and train users on how to use Tableau reports as a data exploration tool. Recently, she started a company called Tablealytics and turned her attention to becoming a Tableau instructor, utilizing the skill set she has gained as a consultant. She focused on educating and inspiring organizations and aspiring in visualization individuals on how to use Tableau as a core tool to reveal insights and tell a story behind their data. With that, I will hand it over to Daria.
Great. Okay. So guys, so today our topic is, well, maybe quite an unusual one. So usually I talk about the methodology of creating reports in Tableau and other technical features, but so today we're going to talk about a slightly different topic. So it is more about how to overcome your creative blockages. So honestly, I think that we've all been there. So there is a thing that calls, I think, black page syndrome. Let's say, for example, you got your Tableau workbook open, you have your data set, and you're super excited to prepare and capture all your brilliant ideas, but yet nothing comes out of your brain. So whether you're a Tableau developer, writer, an artist, or trying to come up with an out-of-the-box solution, sometimes a creative blockage can seem like a challenge that you can just like overcome. So watch this presentation and learn how to overcome self-doubt, fear, and not good enough beliefs about yourself. So overcome your creative blockages and create amazing reports in Tableau. So I'm going to share with you my experience on how do I overcome creative blockages. So sometimes I feel like when I feel creatively blocked, honestly, I feel like super energetically depleted, incapable, uninspired, and in one word, honestly, really shitty. So, you know what honestly kills my creativity is self-doubt, stress, perfectionism, not good enough beliefs about myself, excessive expectations, and just like fear to show up, fear to be real me, and fear to be judged. So that is what kills my creative spirit. Well, so how do I reclaim back my creative spirit? Well, 3 steps I usually take. I overcome the fear to be vulnerable, to be imperfect, and to be seen. So one of the most amazing and inspiring people on the planet is, for me, Brené Brown. So she talks about vulnerability in her books, and one of the quotes that I really love and something that really inspires me is that vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. So with that said, the first thing that I usually start with is the mantra part. So the mantra part usually helps me to overcome I'm not creative enough belief. So usually what I take a deep breath. And I release pressure. I release pressure that I have to create something like super creative, super amazing. I just like every time I have all this, like excessive expectations to myself, I feel so much pressure that I just like I can't start creating anything. So just pressure release really helps. The next thing is that I usually repeat to myself that again, so I don't need to create something sophisticated with my dashboard. My visualization is just a way for me to learn more about the tool, the data, and honestly about like my capabilities. What am I capable of? And so yeah, unleash your creative spirit. That is what I repeat myself. The second thing is that that really helps me is the child-like curiosity part, or just open-mindedness. So for example, when I look at a data set that I'm working with and I feel that, oh my gosh, I don't know what to tell about this data set, like I turn my attention or I just like start asking different questions as if I was like I don't know, like 5 years old child who is curious about everything and just like ask random questions. So just like look at maybe a suggestion may be that to look at a data set and ask questions, just different questions, as if you were a small child who doesn't know much about the world, and the child is curious about everything. So then the next step is once again I take a look at my data set. I ask myself what sparks my interest and curiosity, and what do I want to discover and learn. Well, then the next thing, I usually mark my ideas. So no matter how silly my ideas might sound, I usually always try to write them down, because essentially they will clear out later. But making a note in my phone, or sometimes I also carry like sketchbook around so I can write down my ideas and they don't get lost. So after I took a look once again at my data set, I wrote down all my ideas. Then I start with reviewing my ideas, questions, and insights. Then I choose one. And the third step is that I start develop its story. Well, but then the question is, what if after all the steps you've taken, you haven't found anything interesting? Well, maybe there's just nothing that sparks your interest. And quite honestly, it's normal. Or if you still think that you might develop something interesting and there is a potential to tell a story, then just recharge, go for a walk, clear your mind, and get back to your work later. And don't push. If you push something really hard, you won't get the results you want. And as Judith Baker one time said, good things can only come out of things that you're passionate about, which is so true. Then after the mantra part, after you start asking questions to your data set as 5-year-old child, the next step to take is plot your story. So pick one thing that really sparks your interest and research your dataset discoveries. Sometimes it really helps to go on the internet and look for any additional information about your dataset. Just, like to make, sometimes just to even read some articles that might give you some additional ideas on what else you can, like what other dimensions you can uncover with your data set or story. So after that, sketch your report. So sketching is really important because first of all, it helps you to make your vision or essentially how you would like to see your dashboard more clear to you in the first place. So after you sketch your report, if you still feel that you're constipated with creativity, then get inspired. That you're like, how? Well, sometimes I check infographics on the internet, so it really helps. So for example, if I have a data set, let's say about wine, right? I can go on the internet and start looking for other infographics. This one is really amazing. I absolutely love how they pair wine and cheese, right? So you might pick up some ideas from that. Or for example, this infographics is about history of social work. Also good way to get inspired and pick up some ideas. Then you might go and check out Pinterest. Just search in for any related to your dataset topics, and it's going to help significantly. Yeah, and so it's either infographic or Pinterest or Tableau public. You don't have to, just repeat anything. You just might pick up some ideas and even later on you can apply to other data sets. So it's more about, okay, so that was finding something that really sparks your interest, curiosity, and then just, piling up all these ideas in your head and just trust your brain is gonna so once you feel that, for example, for a specific data set, this idea, design idea might be applicable, you're going to apply it. Just, like maybe be curious and look what is around, what other folks do. So, and yeah, for sure, Tableau Public is another, as everyone knows, amazing way to get inspired. So this dashboard was built by Ken Florich, and that is absolutely amazing work. And so getting inspiration from such visualizations is always so contributing to your work. Well, but at the same time, like personally, my experience is that when I look at such amazing dashboards, it's like almost a masterpiece. My evil mind says, you will never do anything like that. But then I go like, well, that's the thing, I don't have to, right? The thing is that my dashboard is the way how I see a data set, right? And the way how I plot a story. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to repeat or follow anyone's suit, right? It's just like the way how I express my ideas and my vision. Yeah, and so don't use Tableau, well, as the only inspiration, right? So look at different photographs, illustrations, UI, UX design. So another thing that really, I think is getting super popular, this UI design, neumorphism. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Yeah, so this thing is really great. And so also you can use other tools, like just like to design your layout and then use this layout in your dashboards, like, yeah. Okay, so again, once again, sketch your ideas. Sketches are not supposed to be beautiful drawings. They just help us to place and adjust our ideas and elements that we're thinking of. Yeah, and so personally, I gain lots of inspiration when I look at different illustrations, even though they don't have to be relevant to my visualization. And also, one of the things that really inspire me is that when I look at different color palettes. So sometimes I just like go on the internet and yeah, and so for example, look at different color palettes and I'm like, wow, this one looks really awesome. I want to use it. And so, yeah. And so in Tableau, for sure, you can also create custom color palettes, which helps a lot to use this color palette without manually typing each color. Yeah, so, and just remember, you don't have to be anything more than who you are. Just relax, discover, enjoy the process of creating a report, dashboard, your visualization. Just be you, because you're good enough already. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Daria. I think it was. Thank you for sharing all the mantras of how we can go ahead and be creative. Thank you. Thank you for that. So let me now go ahead and introduce our next speaker. So Alexander is a Tableau featured author and the winner of the Elisa Flink Award, aka the hackiest at TC19. Currently, he is working as a BI developer for a mobile gaming company, Playrix, involved in all the Tableau related activities. His first try of using Tableau was in 2015, but he started using Tableau regularly in the June of 2017. His first submission for Makeover Monday was sent in April 2018. It was a moment when he became a part of the Tableau community. He participated also in Sports With Sunday, SWD Challenge, Viz for Social Good. And I think I know Alex as someone who can do anything with Tableau, right? So without further ado, over to Alexander.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're very well. Thank you for having me on this webinar. My topic today is animated stream graphs in Tableau. For starter, I would like to tell about stream graphs, what stream graphs are. Stream graph is a type of area chart. Is a stacked area graph which is displaced around a central axis, resulting in a flowing organic shape like this. When I started to learn something about string graphs, I find interesting information that this type of chart was made by New York Times 10 years ago. It became popular then, and this string graph won Malafey Awards. It was a very interesting thing, and you could find ebb and flow at the box office. Also, if we can find the string graph on Tableau Public, we first of all, I would like to share this string graph by Alex Jones, who inspired me to create my animated graph. And the second example of string graph in Tableau made Ludovic Tavernier. He used another approach, and he described this process in his blog. That's a very interesting thing how to make it. And now I'm gonna show you how to create this type of charts. It's the string graphs looks like this. It's probably you already have seen these charts in media maybe. Also, I should say that it's not a good way to use for business dashboards. And you should understand that it's not a standard chart, but it's exotic chart. And I could recommend use it for infographics and maybe for bespoke visualization. And also you can use it for learning. To try to create this type of chart in Tableau. This visualization I created for Make Over Monday. Make Over Monday is absolutely amazing activity, and the topic was 40 years of US music sales. In these charts, I can choose any metrics. It is revenue by sales, for example, adjusted revenue by sales. And also we can transform this type of chart, the string graphs, to area chart, and also to area chart, percentage area chart. I really like how Tableau deals with animation. And we can also sort this chart. And for example, we can choose another range of data of year, for example. This is one example. I started to create string graphs The next example I prepared especially for explaining how to create this type of chart, and for explaining, I have already explained in my blog how to create it, and now I would like to share that it's not so hard to create this type of chart by yourself. And I found an interesting data, and the data of global primary energy consumption during 200 years. And the initial data you can see here in the data set we have here. We have type of
Hey, Alexander,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you. I think everyone is facing problem with the audio. Are you using a headset or something like that?
Sorry, it's okay?
Yeah, it's fine now. Yeah.
It's fine now. Okay. And next, I would like to discuss how to make this type of chart. Started from this data, you could create the chart in Tableau. If you connect to the data and create the lines for where each lines is energy consumption in terawatt hours by type of energy source. For example, this is coal and crude oil and hydropower, natural gas, and etc. This is common chart, and it's not so big deal to make it in Tableau. And now we should tell how to create area chart instead of line chart. We can switch on the area, and now we have stacked area chart, whereas we have year on the x-axis and energy consumption on y-axis, and now the main idea how to connect the neighbor point using curves. By default, we have a straight line between these points, and we would like to make a chart like this. The main idea is to use a sigmoid function or sinusoid in my example. As we know, sinusoid use what looks like a wave, where a wave from minus half of p to half of p looks like s. It's called sigmoid function too, and I'm going to put these sigmoids between neighbor dots here. How can we put these dots? For example, having initial data set, we should add extra dot to the data set, and I have these values, and values of it's a step between lines. For example, now we have this transition between neighbor lines, and we would like to add extra point. For example, you can see what we would like to add to this function. So if we add extra dots, we will have this sigmoid or s function to create the neighbors dots in our chart. How can we add this sigmoid? I have broken this range into 15 intervals. When each next interval, each next dot is a previous dot plus p divided 14. Also, here is maybe looks like complex function, but I described this function in my blog, and I will show you in the end. And for each dots, we should find in our columns in value neighbors and put each of these coordinates to the neighbors. And when we fill all these tables, we will have a table like this. We can achieve this one. As we can see, we have a smooth transition between neighbors, and we expected it. Now we have sigmoid area chart, and the next step is how to make stream graph from this area chart. The main idea here is if we have maximum point here, we have white area, and we should put half of this area on the bottom of the chart. I'll show you. So we should put this area, this is white area, to obtain a stream graph. How can we put this area? In my data source, I added another table, the same table, and if we as we see on this data, we have pivot field names and pivot field values. Pivot I have created in Tableau, and from these columns, so I pivot these columns and got pivot field names and pivot field values. Also, as I already mentioned, I added another table in this union to make fake zone or fake area. So let's have a look how can we add this area. This function I use for y. It's a nested LOD function, nested fixed function, where I found the maximum of this chart and create z area. It's a fake area, and if we include second tables with this fake area, we can obtain area chart like this. So I filled this area to for better understanding. So the next, now we have Streamgraph, and it works. And also in pivot field names, here we have these values. So it means x values of sin, of sinusoids, of sin wave. If we can look at x, and in this calculation, we have pivot field names plus year, where so we have this part of chart distributed along x axis. Now, after that, we should we can experiment with that. For example, we should remove some points from this chart, and the chart will be simpler, so we have less points. The more points in your chart, the worse the animation will be work worse when you have a lot of marks. Our next step is to remove extra points. For example, if we look at this chart, we can see that we have 0 points here. For example, for nuclear energy, and in 1,800 years there was no nuclear energy, so we can filter these 0 points from our chart to reduce marks. For this, I used 0-point filter. It uses LOD function too. It's nested fixed function where I found each 0 points, and if we put the 0-point filter in rows, we will have null, false, and true parts of this chart. We don't need true part because we have 0 in this area. So let's look at number of marks. Here we have 3,000 marks, and if we put 0 filter and exclude true, for example, we will have 108 1,800 marks. So we reduced number of marks, and the performance of this of the visualization will be better. So the next step is sorting of this area. How to sort it? For sorting, in type of in category type, I used sort field, and my sort field looks like this. Is maybe looks like complicated, but that the main idea of this field, using parameter ascending or descending, and using parameter for type of chart, Streamgraph area chart and percentage area chart, we can find, for example, maximum ASCII code but type. So these rows sort alphabetically, and next row sorts by value, and etc. For this, I have a couple of parameters, alphabetically by value and chronologically. Also, and sort order, ascending or descending. When we put this sort fields in our type field, here is sort field. The two parameter, to mention parameter, will be work well. For example, we can filter this chart chronologically, alphabetically, and also we can change order of sorting, descending or ascending. And also we can change chart type, and I will show you in final with this. Here we have a possibility to filter in this chart. For example, we can filter. Also, we have highlight here, and we can change sorting order and sorting type, and we can choose type of the chart. So we have created a fully interactive chart that allows us to analyze energy consumption, and as we can see, the animation works good. So you could check my Tableau public and play with this type of chart and with this visualization. So the next one, how can we implement this type of chart in visualization? This type of chart, I mean Streamgraphs, work well with time access and with events, with long events like consumptions of coal during 200 years, like for example films. The next visualization I would like to show it's called the top 200 domestic box office movies. I have chosen 50 top movies in 2019, and one area here is the film, and this is in fact cash flow by week in 2019. For example, this movie is Avengers Endgame, and this movie is Toy Story, and the color is the distributor. The blue one is Walt Disney, and etc. You can find this visualization too. Also, it could be animated. It's complex for Tableau to calculate this animation, but it's possible. It looks like this, and we can check. It's hard to calculate it, but it's not so. Sorry. Oops. Sorry. I'm reloading Tableau.
Hey, Alexander, you want to
Yes,
talk about your blog also? I think
sorry, my Tableau.
no problem in that. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes. Okay. It's not a problem, but you can try to find stuff like this. And my last visualization, it's about all domestic box in 21st century, and this one was uses the principle I've already mentioned. Concerning my blog, thank you for your attention. It maybe looks complex, and if you're interested in how to create this type of visualization, you can find my blog, coolbluedata.com, and find this article about Streamgraphs, and step by step use your own data set, using your data set to create your own animated Streamgraphs. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander, for that. And I think I will recommend just go ahead on Tableau Public, download the visualization, and do the reverse engineering, right? Try to understand how exactly Alexander has done it, and maybe you can create your own with respect to it. So thank you for that. I think we'll go ahead and take some of the questions which we have got in the chat. So Daria, you can also unmute yourself.
Sure.
Yes, I think the first question was for you with respect to what are the sites we can go ahead and use for colors, right, or fonts?
Sorry, could you please repeat the question once again?
I'm saying the question was that what are the different sites we can go ahead and what are different sites for colors we can go ahead and check?
Yeah, well, I think that sometimes, well, the other websites that I use, I think that there are some websites that allow you to upload just a picture or an image and essentially detect the colors that appear the most, or the color palette that kind of like that represents mostly the picture. Sometimes I use this websites, just, like, for example, if I like a picture and I like the colors, so as opposed to just, like, randomly pick up colors from the picture, I just upload this picture and the website automatically detects the most appearing colors on this picture. I think you can Google it. If there is any way how I can follow up on this question, maybe send it over
Sure.
chat.
You can,
okay.
maybe you can on chat, or you can just post it on Twitter, right? Just use the
Yeah,
hashtag
right.
connect. Yeah, people can just go ahead and take it from there. Yeah.
Cool.
So if you have any question for Daria and Alexander, just go ahead and put it in the Q&A. I will go ahead and happy to ask them. I think one question I have for Alexander, right? So Alexander, I think I know you have presented before also in VizConnect. The last session which you talked about was about how to create a 3D chart in Tableau, right?
Yes.
So do you do the same thing when you're creating a business dashboard, or your approach is different? You also create something like bar charts as we do for a business dashboard.
Okay. Concerning my business case, I use usually line chart and bar chart and maybe some tables and so on, because the business dashboard should be looks not interesting, but uh, my I never use some design cases or exotic charts in my business dashboards. My dashboard looks like common dashboards, maybe, but some results, some calculations which I use for my Tableau public visualization, I use in my business cases, but not this type of charts.
Okay. What about you, Daria? Like, what's your advice on that? Like, and I think you have started your own company now, and I think you have started inspiring others how they can learn Tableau. I think if we can hear from you also, what you think about that, right? Like how we can go ahead and you talked about it, right? You said that whenever I see other Tableau Zen masters and all, they create some beautiful charts, and
Yeah.
that's the same feeling for me also, right? Can I do something like that? Will it be possible for me, or should I just stick to the normal bar charts and create something like that, which I have doing from the last 5 to 6 years? Yeah, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So, well, first of all, for sure, it depends on what is the final goal. So the final goal is just, like if you're working on a data set and it's just like you want to create a viz for yourself. So for example, you can publish it on Tableau Public and share it with our community. In our community, that's just like one thing. So here, well, you can go as creative as you can. And so for sure, there should be like no restrictions on using only bar charts. But even though like with bar charts, you can go sometimes really crazy and do some really amazing stuff, even with bar charts. But essentially, if your final goal is to, for example, create an executive dashboard, that's I will definitely agree with Alexander saying that there should be some, like maybe rules that you have to follow, right? Because essentially you're trying to, the final goal is to clearly communicate the message with your dashboard. So for example, for an executive, I think that they are more likely to, they're more willing to look at bands as opposed to, like Sankey charts and try to just, like, as opposed to just, trying to understand some really interesting but complex to digest visualization. So my answer is depending on the final goal, the first. So identify the goal, your final goal first, and the second, depending on your answer, just, like, feel that anything that you do, it is good enough. So there is a difference, I feel like, between pressuring yourself and being perfect at something, as opposed to trying to learn, be open-minded, curious, and just, like, I'm not saying that like you have to be always satisfied with everything you do, but essentially, as opposed to, like, trying to be perfect at something, right? It is always better to be like open-minded and just curious and try to learn. And yeah, I mean, just like as a child to be curious, and regardless of like what type of dashboard you were trying to develop. So I hope I answered the question.
Yep. Thank you. And then I think just last 5 minutes, I wanted to talk about IronVis, right? And just the question is for both of you, right? Are you guys participating in IronVis this year? And if you are, like, how's it going? So maybe Daria, you can start. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, I'm planning to start this week. So essentially, right now, I'm in the process of finding a data set that I'm kind of like really sparks my interest. But I definitely feel like that this competition is absolutely amazing for your professional growth, and I think that we can all share our work and learn from each other, and once again just like get inspired, and yeah, I mean, that's I think my answer.
Yeah. And what about you, Alexander? Are you participating in IronVis this year?
Seriously, I'm from Russia, and IronVis has restricted list of countries. So I can participate.
Oh, okay. And one, I think one important thing for us, thank you, Alexander. I know that English is not your first language, but thanks a lot for coming on VizConnect and presenting, right?
Thank you.
So I will encourage everyone, like, go ahead, participate in IronVis, right? If it's your first time, I will recommend you to just go ahead and do it, right? You will learn a lot when you're participating in IronVis, right? You will get a feedback. What are the things you can go ahead and improve, right? Learn
Right.
from everyone's work, right? I think Daria is there. You just go ahead and see whenever she publishes her dashboard, that will be important for you to how to go ahead and connect and understand the mindset. So that is one thing which I have learned from so many people, that when you want to go ahead and improve your bar with respect to Tableau, one thing is that just go ahead and participate, right? Go ahead and test it out. And thanks to Daria also today for talking us about the mantra, how we can go ahead and be creative about it. And thank you, Alexander, for talking about Streamgraphs, right? I think that is something I will surely go ahead and try out today. So with that, thank you everyone for joining. It was a pleasure to have you on VizConnect. Thank you, Daria. Thank you, Alexander. I hope you guys stay safe and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.